Yes, I'm Roman and welcome to my channel. For today's video, I will give you some tips on traveling alone, aka solo traveling. Let's go. Number one, mapping. What this means is that you locate all the essential areas that you will need for your trip. For example, you will know where the airport is and the distance between the airport and where you'll be staying, as well as the different places that you would like to visit. What this does is that it gives you a better sense of organization, particularly when you are new to solo traveling. It helps you to make better use of your time. For me personally, I use a mixture of complete localization, complete mapping, and being random, because there are advantages in both, of course. So when I went to Germany, for example, I knew where the airport was, where I was staying, the distance between both, and the distance between the different places I wanted to visit. Whilst when I was in Spain, I only knew where the airport was and where my hotel was. That's all I knew. And as for the rest of my trip, I simply planned it daily. Number two, travel size containers or travel size items. What this does is that it helps you to pack more efficiently, where you have much more space and you don't have to take too many things. So when I travel, I like to carry perfume or body spray, and this is body wash, body gel. I also have lotion, and sometimes when I need things for my hair, I have these containers which I may use to put in hair products, or I just put in whatever I want into these containers. So as I said before, the advantage here is to avoid having too many things with you. This for me is ideal when you're traveling alone, because there's nothing I hate more than having too many things in my hand or too many things on my back. Solo traveling should be light and fun. And for those who might be taking the plane, the items I showed you before are at a maximum of 100 milliliter, which is the desired limit. Number three, pack light. This is very close to number two, but the difference is that now I will speak to you about your clothing items. My rule of thumb is to have one pair of trousers per 2 or 3 shirts. It all depends on the length of my stay and my plans for my stay. And it also depends on where I will be staying. So for example, if I'm staying in a hotel where I have a private room, then I could easily wash my clothes whenever I have a shower. However, if I will use an hostel, then I know that I will not necessarily have the opportunity to wash, and so I keep this rule: one pair of trousers or pants to 2 or 3 different shirts. Another essential when packing light is having comfortable shoes. I usually take one pair of shoes. This one, for example, is a Puma brand, and it's very comfortable as the insole is memory foam. So with the shoes, it looks elegant. You may wear it at a dinner, at some restaurant, and you can very well wear the shoes if you want to hike or walk for very long distances, because it is quite comfortable and it adapts to your feet, etc. It's a very comfortable shoes and it serves for multiple purposes. Number 4, use hostels. When I travel, for example, my intention is to spend as little money as possible, and hostels is one such way to save a lot of money. In comparison to a typical hotel, a hostel might save you at least 80% of that price, a fraction of the price, or even more. For example, the cheapest hostel I've stayed at cost 15 euros. That is not a lot of money in comparison to a hotel, which might cost minimum 50 euros, of course, depending on where you are. Some options for hostels, general options, are Hostel World or youth hostels. But simply go on Google, write in hostels. However, please note that hostels are not automatically cheap. There are some hostels which are quite expensive. There are some which allow you to share space with a second person, 4 persons, 5, etc. And there are some which are very luxurious, almost akin to a hotel. However, the general rule is that hostels are usually cheaper than hotels, and of course hostels usually come with a breakfast option among other easy luxuries. For me, this is a great option because whenever I travel, I almost never stay in the sleeping area. So for example, when I went to Germany, I woke at 7 a.m. and I did not return home until 9 p.m. when it was time to shower and go to bed. So you find that I only use a hostel for sleeping, therefore I need not to pay an exorbitant amount of money. Number 5, it is essential that you have both a working credit or debit card as well as physical cash on you. Depending on where you're going, you might need to have the right currency that you can do in the country or even before you leave your own country. However, something that's very important, which happened to me before, is that depending on your type of bank and your bank card, you may need to inform your bank before leaving your country because your card might be blocked. This happened to me when I went to London. I had zero access to money because all my cards were blocked. And I've also seen this happen to other people, and the solution is simply call your bank if you can, and they usually can resolve it. However, some banks, like my other bank account, allows me to use a certain amount of money while I'm abroad, so I don't need to inform my bank. It already gives me that access. So that's very, very important. And a bonus tip: whenever you're traveling alone or going to any country, even if it's in a group, please be careful of the norms and rules associated with the country. So you might need to do a little bit of reading. This could very well help you. But the downside to this is that it could make you overly paranoid. Therefore, don't do too much research. Don't over research your destination, lest that will motivate you not to go. Anyways, with that said, that's all for today. If you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, share this video if you like it, leave a comment down below, and that's it for today. I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.